In another development of national importance, new documents leaked by the former NSA contractor Edward Snowden show the agency has been hacking antivirus software companies. So the snooping was supposed to help the government stay ahead of the biggest cyber companies. In the meantime, a warning, a shot across the bow. Former CIA NSA chief Michael Hayden saying the U.S. is easy prey for hackers. The chairman of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies and former director of the Central Intelligence Ambassador, James Woolsey, with me now. James, thanks so much for joining us. We're glad to have you with us. First and foremost, is there anything wrong with what the NSA and the equivalents of the NSA in the UK did, that is to say, spy on domestic anti-hacking companies? Well,
a lot of these companies are not domestic, they're worldwide, Kaspersky and others, and they have clients from all over the world. So collecting intelligence on them and how they operate and how they guard the material, sometimes of pretty nasty countries and clients that they are selling their services to, is, as far as I'm concerned, fine. I mean, it's a jungle out there. They're all spying on us. We're spying on them. We have a close relationship with several countries that we really don't collect intelligence on one another. But outside that, look, some of our friends and allies bribe their way to contracts all the time, all over the world. And U.S. basically doesn't do that because of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. But I wrote a piece one time in the Wall Street Journal that said to our allies, if you will stop bribing, we'll stop spying on you.
Okay, but I hear what you're saying, James, in the sense that, listen, it's not as if they're hacking or looking into just one Silicon Valley company, that these are global companies, not just domestic, so your point is well made. What do you make, though, of the former CIA NSA chief, Michael Hayden, his comments, essentially that the U.S. is so vulnerable more than even the average citizen realizes?
Well, in the last 30 years or so, the capability of our electronics and our interneted grid and so forth have become about somewhere between 1 million and 1 billion times more effective. It's also become somewhat between 1 million and 1 billion times more vulnerable, because the vulnerability goes with the effectiveness unless you take care. And we didn't really expand our information system in a careful way. We did it with a spirit kind of the flower children of the 60s and so forth, my generation of, hey, let's all share, what could go wrong? And so the grid, I mean, the networks for information in our country are really very, very easily gotten into. And when you change or tamper with or hack one part of it, you may be able to have an effect on another part of it very many connections away.
Is there a weakest link? Is there an Achilles heel? Is there one system that you see as weaker than the other parts?
I'd say that our utilities and the electric grid.
Which is pretty frightening.
We have 18 critical infrastructures in the U.S., food, water, financial, medicine, et cetera. And 17 of them depend on the 18th, electricity. So
Ambassador, without cutting you off, I've heard that some of those systems are so clunky, it's actually good that they're old and clunky because it actually makes them harder to hack, but that's the opposite of what you're saying.
There's a certain truth there. Say if they're old enough and they're vacuum tubes and so forth, then yeah. But some of the reforms, some of the changes that have been added in order to have competition, for example, in electric rates that is continually operating throughout the country, have also made one part more able to be tampered with when you tamper with another. So I'd say that if it's old enough, it's probably not that vulnerable. But if it's the age most of our infrastructure is, we got a problem.
In praise of vacuum tubes, after all. Ambassador, thank you so much. James Woolsey with me there, chairman of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies.